So after Samuel dies, Philippos offers his son, Jopan, the job of manager at Parambil. I thought that was such a powerful scene. And when Jopan explains to him that you think that you are one thing, but you really are another, that you are a part of this whole caste system. Lillian, I heard you had a question.
Hi, this is Lillian, and I could not put this book down. One of the most fascinating conversations in the book was the one between Philippos and Jopan, when Philippos first asked Jopan to tend to the land in Parambril. And I want to read it so I make sure that I capture it correctly. He said, he being Jopan, said the kind slave owners in India or anywhere were always the ones who had the greatest difficulty seeing the injustice of slavery. Their kindness, their generosity compared to cruel slave owners made them blind to the unfairness of a system of slavery that they created, they maintained, and that favored them. This was clearly eye-opening to Philippos. Who do you think most needs to hear this message today?
Wow, thank you so much for that inspired reading, first of all.
Lillian sat down and said, I'm going to do a reading for you all. Thank you, Lillian.
You know, I labored over that passage a long time because I didn't want it to sound like exposition. I really wanted it to be organic to the two characters. And, Philippos thinks he's broad-minded, thinks he's, empathetic with Jopan, his childhood friend. But there is a kind of blindness that one can be guilty of by taking for granted.
Yes.
We see this when we talk about, health inequity. It's sometimes difficult for people who don't experience health inequity, who have the agency to challenge their doctors, who have the means to go get a second opinion to understand why there should be health inequity. And so I really wanted to write something that would startle the listener, who might discover, as we've all discovered, that we ourselves are guilty of a kind of blindness when it comes to disparities of all kind, And so, in a way, this also echoes what it must have been like for my grandparents, less so for my parents, where at some level they didn't see the injustice. This was the way it was.
They were just, contributing to the system.
And they were benevolent compared to us. We're not talking about slavery. We're just talking about relationships between, people who've worked for one family for a long time.
Servants in the house, yes.
Technically, they could leave and be anywhere, but in the reality, there was a dependence that had gone on for so long that they would be a little lost, at least one generation would. So that was a critical scene for me. I worked on that a lot. I mean, that's one scene I can talk about because I was reading up about, communism in Kerala, reading about the class struggle, borrowing some of the language of that struggle. And there was a reason that the communists held sway from time to time, even today in Kerala. They win the state election, they lose it, they win. It's because for the poor, there was the strong sense that, benevolence is not enough. We need equity that's measurable, that's palpable. And that was a long time coming.